Hearing your recap of 2025 fills me with great pride for all that we've achieved together as the Think Plus community. From launching groundbreaking products like AutoSave to establishing Think Local, which has positively impacted the people and communities we serve, 2025 has undoubtedly set the stage for future success. Tonight, we'll share more insights about the next big thing at Think Plus, the launch of our home battery product. Buckle up, get excited, be ready to learn, because the next 30 minutes or so will be rocket fuel for your Think Plus business. Personally, I've been looking forward to this call for months, as I'm visualizing what the future holds for all of us. And hopefully, at the end of the call tonight, you'll begin to see what I see, as our future is very bright. With that, let's dive in. Any great opportunity starts with a market need. We have that in spades. We can simply see the gravity of our opportunity in the news we read each day. Everywhere you look, electricity prices are frequently the top story.
Mike, are you sharing slides? Are you wanting to share slides?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Gotcha, sorry. Don't see them yet.
I could see them.
I
Mike.
was seeing them.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I thought I was sharing.
yeah, so you're good. We can see
There we
them.
go. There we go.
Okay. Everywhere you look, electricity prices are frequently the top story. When I look at the headlines related to energy prices, I see one important and reoccurring theme. Power prices are increasing and are expected to increase in the future due to massive increase in electricity demand caused by data centers and AI computing. We see this in our everyday lives as electricity prices are increasing and the companies in the AI race are actively looking for non-conventional solutions for their energy supply, such as Google's Project Suncatcher program, where Google plans to build solar-powered data centers in space. The opportunity for each of us is massive, as our friends, family, and acquaintances will need solutions to deal with the higher energy prices ahead. To set the stage, let's take a look at energy prices over the last 5 years. On a national level, we've seen energy prices increase by 6% per year over the past 5 years. That rate of increase has never been seen before in US history. To put it into context, by comparison, electricity prices over the past 50 years have gone up by 1.4% annually. And in the last 5 years, electricity prices have increased at a rate of 4 times faster than the previous 50-year average. While the 6% rate of increase seems high, I fear that electricity prices will increase at an even greater rate in the foreseeable future. A perfect example is what we're seeing across the PJM electricity grid today. For those of you who are unfamiliar with PJM, PJM is an electric grid with 13 member states in Washington, D.C. that stretches from Illinois to the Atlantic coastline. Utilities in the PJM region have seen dramatic increases in electricity prices in the past year, as utility rates have jumped by 15 to 45%, not 6% like I showed you on the last graph, over the past 12 months when compared with the prior period. And the news in PJM continues to get worse as the capacity market, which is a key component of energy cost in PJM, has held auctions already for the next 2 periods, starting in June 2026 and June 2027. Both auctions cleared at the cap, which is materially higher than today's prices, so future rates will continue to increase. Without spending too much time to explain market fundamentals, the key issue is artificial intelligence. I'm guessing everyone on this call uses AI in some form in their daily life, either ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, or any of the countless options available to us. I think we can all agree that AI is going to play a significant role in our lives in the short, medium, and long term. Why is this important? Because AI is driving up energy prices, and I want to help you understand that on a very simple level. First, AI uses dramatically more electricity than a traditional Google search. Running an AI model-based search can use up to 10 times more electricity than a classic Google search because of the energy-intensive hardware required for processing and storage. Second, AI usage in the United States has exploded over the past few years, with rapid growth across businesses, industries, and the workforce. As of 2024, daily AI users in the US have nearly tripled from 116 million in 2020 to 314 million in 2024. In 2025, 40% of employees report using AI at work, compared to 20% just 2 years ago. The key takeaway is simple. AI is driving up energy demand and prices and will continue to drive them up in the future. One last simple graph to put the message into context. Deloitte put together some analysis on the projected electricity demand from AI data centers in the United States over the next 10 years. The forecasted scale of growth is staggering. In 2024, there were 4 gigawatts of data center power demand related to AI. Deloitte is forecasting that number could increase to 123 gigawatts of electricity demand related to AI by 2035. That represents a 31 times increase over the 2024 level of power demand. To put that into context, 123 gigawatts of dispatchable power generation is enough electricity to power approximately 100 million homes in the United States. And that's just the expected increase from AI-driven data centers. With that, let's summarize what we've learned so far. The summary is very simple. We have a problem in the United States. Energy prices are rising, and there is no end in sight. We have solutions. We offer tech-enabled solutions like home batteries and autosave to reduce energy bills for your customers. You have an opportunity to help customers manage those bills. So let's talk about how you're going to do that. First, let's start with our flagship product that was introduced mid-2025. It's available in 6 PJM markets. It's our autosave product where customers can sign up, and we will switch them between Think Energy and the utility, whichever is lower. We'll constantly price them and reprice them. There is zero downside for customers as they'll get moved back and forth whenever we can save them money. So when you think about rising energy prices and customers are looking for ways to save money, this is the easiest solution available to them. Autosave is very exciting because every customer can enroll. However, let's talk about the home battery product, which is set to launch in March. As you may know, we launched a pilot program in November 2025. The intent of the battery pilot program is for us to install hundreds of batteries as we prepare for full launch of the program. Each battery was treated as an opportunity for us to learn and improve. Overall, the battery pilot has been a resounding success. We've had a broad cross-section of Texans participate in our battery pilot program, including select Think Plus leaders, existing Think Energy customers, personal business acquaintances, and our own Chief Growth Officer, Charlie Gerbers, pictured with her husband, Jason, in there, and their brand new battery at their home. As we get closer to launch, Charla and others will be sharing their insights and experiences with the battery product. Stay tuned for more details about that, as it will be very informative. One of the biggest questions we get about the battery program is how it works. When introduced to the program, we often hear from customers that it's, quote, too good to be true. As a customer will say, you're giving me a low rate of electricity, free backup power, and no cost to install. How is that even possible? So I wanted to spend a few slides educating you about how the program works. Please note The data you are about to see is actual data from a customer in our battery pilot program. The chart shows home electricity usage and price. The orange line is what would have been imported from the electricity grid without a battery. The blue line is price. For the same home and electricity price curve, this slide shows what happens when we add a battery to the home. This chart shows battery activity and electricity price. The orange bars show electricity being discharged from the battery and used to power the home when prices are high. For this home, these periods are 7 to 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. to midnight. The blue bars show battery charging from the electric grid when prices are low. In this example, the period is 12 to 3 p.m. This chart is the end result of putting a behind the meter battery in a home. The dotted blue line shows the power consumed from the grid by the home. As you can see, when prices are highest, there is no power being drawn from the grid. All the power during that period is being consumed from the battery. When prices are lowest, the battery is being charged. The net result, and this is how we can offer such a great value proposition to your customers, is that we've reduced the cost to serve this customer by nearly 80% on this particular day. This is how we're able to deliver the customer such an attractive customer value proposition. This is why it's not too good to be true. So another bit of an exciting news. So everyone across the country has been experiencing extreme cold over the past week or so. One of the things that we've seen across our markets is power outages. We've seen it in particular in the Center Point market in Texas, where we have multiple batteries in place in our pilot program. This is an example, a real world example of a customer in our battery pilot who lost power on January 25th from 8:40 to 9:20 a.m. As you can see from the graph, the dark blue shows the battery switching on to power the home during a recent outage. This is a proof point from our pilot program that the value of our program is well beyond just low energy prices. This is an actual customer who experienced the resiliency of our battery during a recent power outage. Now that's an exciting example, but let's talk about this second example, because obviously duration is important in these batteries. Here's another customer in our battery pilot who lost power on January 24th, but this customer lost power from 4 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. in Center Point, a 4.5-hour outage at peak times when there was extreme cold in the market. As you can see from the graph, the dark blue shows the battery switched on to power the home during the recent outage. 9.2 kilowatts of power used during that 4.5-hour period, providing seamless whole home backup for this customer. Two great examples of how impactful this can be for our customers. And to put a finer point on this issue for Texas, resilience is a big issue in that market. Texas leads the US with 263 outages since 2019 that have lasted for an average of 2.7 hours each. We just showed you that our battery seamlessly provided 4.5 hours of whole home backup for one of our battery pilot customers on January 24th. And the stat on the bottom of this slide is also very interesting. This shows you how top of mind outages are to people in Texas. According to this stat, nearly 700,000 homes without battery or backup generation had an outage in the last 90 days not related to a weather event. Think about that value prop to those customers. People need this product. Now let's get into the details about what is to come. We're launching the home battery program in multiple phases to ensure the best possible customer experience. March 2nd, battery training and certification begins. If you want to sell the battery product, you must be battery certified to upgrade your customers to battery products. I cannot stress this enough. Please make sure that you get certified and encourage others on your team to do the same. On March 23rd, you can begin upgrading qualified customers to the battery product. We will have a process for letting you know which of your existing Think Energy customers qualify for the home battery program. As we've done in the pilot program, we've limited customer enrollments to within a 1-hour drive from the Houston and Dallas Metroplex areas. We've done this to maximize efficiency and customer experience. We'll continue with this strategy when we launch in March. Our plan is to release a list of zip codes prior to launch in March, where the home battery product will be available in the initial rollout of the program. Our goal is to have the battery product available across all deregulated Texas utilities and zip codes they serve. However, this will take time as we're focused on delivering a great customer experience. Let's talk about the customer value proposition. Simple and compelling. First, save on electricity. This manifests in 2 ways: initial savings and peace of mind about future savings. Your initial 60-month electricity rate is very competitive with the market. And then upon renewal at the end of your 60-month term and then subsequent renewals, you will be protected with our lowest rate guarantee, which means that we'll match or beat the best comparable rate at renewal, or you'll be able to cancel with no fee. Second, free backup power for your home. We don't charge for backup. It's included in the price you pay for electricity. And finally, no cost to install. Simple and compelling, as I said. Now let's take a look at how that actually compares with what's available in the market today. First, let's compare the retail electric offer versus other 60-month offers available on the Power to Choose website. At 2,000 kilowatt hours of usage, our rate is 14.6 cents versus the closest competitor at 16.2 cents. You're saving 1.6 cents per kilowatt with our 5-year rate compared to the next closest competitor. When you multiply that by 2,000 kilowatt hours of annual usage, that's $320 per year you're saving. Second, let's compare our battery offer versus the competitors. We don't charge for install versus the competitor who charges nearly $700. Plus, we give added benefits such as a generator port included for free versus the competitor charging $1,000 for that feature. We truly have the best offer available in the market today. Now let's talk about the Texas home battery process. This is important. Step 1, you enroll customers on Think Energy Electric plans. Step 2, we pre-qualify your customers for a battery upgrade. Step 3, you help your customers complete the battery enrollment process. We've designed the process so customers have to initially be enrolled on a Think Energy electric rate plan. Customers will not be offered, you will not be able to enroll customers directly into the battery product. We've done that for multiple strategic reasons. It allows you to continue to grow your Think Energy business without having to deal with the qualifications, and it lets us do the work on qualifying customers, as we'll be able to determine whether customers meet those initial criteria for the battery product. So you will have to you will want to continue to enroll as many customers, build that funnel as wide as possible, because that's going to maximize the number of customers who ultimately qualify for the battery. So what are those qualification criteria? The customer lives in a single family home that they own. They have a 700 plus credit score. They use over 1,500 kilowatts per month of electricity. They do not have an existing solar system or whole home battery backup, and they're an auto pay customer. So when customers come into Think Energy, we will then pre-qualify those customers and inform you which customers have met this criteria for you then to upgrade those Think Energy customers to the battery. An additional phase 1 criteria will be that the customer has to be on flow with us for 3 months for us to validate their payment characteristics. So what's the takeaway here? The takeaway here is start building your funnel with electricity customers who can, then we will pre-qualify and let you know if they meet these criteria. So this has been fun to this point, but I think what people are most excited about what's next, which is compensation. I definitely have had countless conversations where there are a lot of people excited about building this once they learn how much they can earn doing it. We're thrilled about the compensation side of this program. So phase 1, so here's the compensation. Simple concept. The higher your earned rank, the more you earn. And so we are paying up to $525, depending on who does the enrollment or what the rank is of the person who does the enrollment and the rank of their mentor at the time the customer enrolls. And then in terms of team compensation, we're paying $50 across Infinity encoded pay and $25 to the partner pool. Let's take a look at what that means in practice. So example 1, a director enrolls a new IEA, and that IEA enrolls a customer who qualifies, who enrolls in the battery product. That will pay a $100 cab for the person who did the work because they're an IEA who enrolled the customer, and their mentor will earn $150 because their mentor at the time the customer was enrolled will earn $150. Example 2. An SCA is sponsoring an existing SCA. That SCA enrolls a customer who win the battery product. In this example, since the EA who enrolled the customer is an SCA, they would get $200. And if their mentor was an SCA as well, they would get $200. So what's really important to maximize the compensation plan related to batteries is to build your Think Plus business. Get to the rank of REA, SCA, director, because by doing that, that will unlock significant additional compensation for you, the EA, who's doing the work. And then as you recruit new EAs in the business to do the same and teach them to get customers and then convert them to battery customers, you're unlocking more pay for you as a mentor. So this comp structure is intended to help you and give you extra incentive to continue to build that top of funnel, which is drive customers into Think Plus, or sorry, into Think Energy, which will then, we will pre-qualify them to become battery customers. So let's talk a little bit about compensation timeline and how that all fits together. So if you think of 3 different points in that customer's journey, remember, every customer starts as a Think Energy customer. So you have when they enroll as a Think Energy customer, when they sign a battery contract, and when they have the battery installation being complete. So when you enroll a Think Energy customer, compensation, same as always. You, who does the work, gets the $20 cab, and then it pays upline compensation. And then you, when the customer pays their bill, becomes residually qualified, start earning residuals on that customer. Typically an electricity customer, depending on market, lasts anywhere from 2 to 5 years, depending on the product and the competitive dynamics. Let's talk about the value of that upgrade to the battery. So then you fill the funnel with lots of Think Energy customers. We tell you who pre-qualifies for the battery. You then convert them to upgrade them to a battery. When they sign that battery contract, it unlocks 50% of the battery cab. And then when the installation is complete, you get the second 50% of the battery cab. When that battery contract is signed, you get 2 additional points for the battery. So depending on when you add that to the electricity contract and the bands, which could be 1, 2, 3 points for bands, and that customer likely is going to be generating, 3 to 4 points in the compensation plan, which will help you advance in rank and unlock more compensation. What's most important is the points and the electricity residual is expected to be a 15-year residual because the customer's signing a 15-year contract with us on the battery. And so you'll be earning for 15 years as that customer pays their electric bill to us every month as part of the battery program. That is a very compelling value proposition, in addition to being able to earn up to $525 when the customer becomes a battery customer, as well as the initial compensation they get for being a Think Energy customer. Does that make sense? Immediate comp through the Think Energy product, 50% on the battery contract, the other 50% when installed. And meanwhile, you're earning a residual based on the band of the electricity usage, which is ultimately, a 15-year residual, assuming that customer stays with us for that entire period. Pretty compelling EA value proposition. So really, just to summarize, we think this is the ultimate win-win-win. First, let's start with the customer value proposition. Low-cost electricity with lowest renewal rate guarantee. And you saw in the example of today's rate in the pilot versus what's available in the market, our rate for a 60-month product is 1.6 cents lower than the lowest available rate on Power to Choose. And then that customer gets peace of mind on every renewal that our rate will be the lowest in the market, or there'll be no termination fees if they want to leave. Second, free backup generation. If my slides early didn't convince you that it is very topical across the country, we just saw it with the power outages that happened this week, as well as the data that Texas has the most power outages in the country. No cost to install makes it a very easy choice for that customer. Low cost electricity, free backup generation, no cost to install. I think we give that a win for the customer. Now let's talk about the EA value proposition. First, this opportunity isn't available anywhere else. No one else in the market has these products for you to offer to your customers. Second, we're rewarding with you up to 4 customer points for every battery customer you install, 2 for the battery, and then bands for the electricity usage, which will be typically 2 points given they're the higher usage customers. Up to $525 in upfront compensation, up to 15 years of electricity residuals, with very low churn rates on those. Check EA value proposition. And then finally, let's focus on the electric grid, right? Win for the grid. We're balancing power during peak times. Pretty good product. What about outside of Texas? This is a common question we get. New Jersey is our next market up. So we're actively in the process of enabling ourselves to enter that market, applying for the requisite general contractor licenses. That market will be launched in pilot mode as soon as we have successfully got the Texas market up and running. So from an expectation is that'd be probably sometime in the second quarter. Illinois and Pennsylvania would be the next markets up after that. And then obviously there is a long list of markets that we'll be looking to enter either in later 2026 or 2027. But these are the 3 markets that are next up for us. Now, before I turn it over to Charla, I want to end with a quick story. For those of you who know me well, I'm a sports fanatic and a die-hard Seattle sports fan. And last night was special in the Falquist household as the Seahawks won the NFC Championship game and will play in the Super Bowl in a few weeks. I share this because there is a great story that has emerged where Seattle Seahawks head coach Mike Macdonald has a now famous story about how he essentially called his shot on this year's NFC Championship game being played at home in Seattle. When Coach Macdonald was first hired by the Seahawks 2 years ago, he held an early team meeting where he asked his players to visualize a very specific moment. He told them to visualize late January in Seattle, the weather cold and miserable, and their season coming down to an NFC Championship game at home. The point wasn't fortune telling. He wanted players to mentally live in that environment long before they got there, so the stage would feel familiar instead of overwhelming. Players and reporters later recalled that many in that room really did picture that exact scene. Packed stands, loud crowd, defense on the field protecting a lead in a win-or-go-home game to reach the Super Bowl. It became part of the team's internal mythology, proof that the standard from day one was not just making the playoffs, but hosting the conference title game in Seattle. Fast forward to this season, and that vision lined up almost perfectly with reality, as the Seahawks earned the top spot in the NFC, rode the league's top scoring defense, and ended up winning the NFC Championship game at home. I tell that story because this is our moment to visualize our future success. Take a moment to think about what we have. A product that is a win-win-win. A win for your customer. Electricity prices are rising. You can help your customer save money. Grid reliability is a growing concern. You can help your customer with free backup generation. A win for you, an opportunity that no one else has. 4 points per customer, up to 4 points per customer, up to 15 years of residuals, up to $525 in upfront compensation available. A win for the electric grid. We're shifting electricity demand from peak to off-peak to balance the grid. With this true win-win-win, where do you think we will be in 1, 2, 5, 10 years from now? I want you to visualize that, because when I look into the future, I see millions of customers helped, many EA lives changed, and a more balanced grid because of it. Let's make that a reality. With that vision, let me turn it back to Charla. Charla.